Well, there's little doubt that artificial intelligence will trigger a boom for industry right around the world, and that includes small and medium-sized businesses. The question is how quickly those business owners will understand and adopt the new technology and how they adapt it for their own industries and their individual businesses. But there's another problem. If cyber criminals adapt more quickly than business does, it causes real dramas. Steph Nash reports.
With rising energy prices, high interest rates, and subdued consumer demand, small business owners might be excused for feeling a little down right now. But optimism is the reason most people get into business in the first place. So even in tougher times, it's hard to shake.
Yeah, look, small business customers are notoriously resourceful and resilient, and of course we're seeing that come through. But we do know there's economic headwinds and that they're facing some of that pressure.
According to CBA research, 35% of SME owners are concerned about energy prices, but even more are concerned about rising costs. But despite those ongoing challenges, plenty still see opportunities for growth.
We're hearing things like 45% intend on investing in new marketing strategies, or up to 30% with new staff. Energy costs, a number are looking at how they're buying assets or how they're using energy. We've seen, for example, electric car demand up 325%.
At the Commonwealth Bank Small Business Expo in Melbourne this week, there was a big emphasis on artificial intelligence and the way it might shape all business in the future.
How big of an opportunity is AI for the future of how SMEs are going to be doing their business?
Yeah, transformative would be the single word I would use there. I think we're yet to see it unleash in a way that I think we'll look back in 5 to 10 years and recognise what an inflection point this is right now.
For SMEs, naturally, it's about profitability and productivity. The opportunity from AI for traditionally time-poor SME owners is to adopt even more technology to reduce costs and maximise output.
It's in the back of their minds, they want to get into it, but they've also got the day-to-day pressures of thinking about their BAS statements and what's due this week. And so our encouragement to them is to stop, take some time, invest the time, and you'll reap the benefits.
New research from CommBank reveals 59% of SMEs have invested or plan to invest in AI in the next 5 years. Around 2/3 of those business owners are using AI to improve their productivity.
I was sitting with a customer this morning that's an engineer, talking to them about they have to write reports and it's human capital, but could AI help them refine the report, perhaps reduce the time to put it together, whilst their intellect and their human capital will be always required? Some of that can assist.
That's what business coach Cesar Aldea is focusing on with his clients. With higher operating costs and consumers more cautious with their spending, finding ways to keep making a profit can be the secret to surviving in the current downturn. It's a high-stakes operating environment. Every dollar counts.
92% of businesses are below $2 million and with profit margins below 10%. So the financial vulnerability is very high, and particularly in times now when recruitment, retention is becoming a challenge. Everything costs more and customers don't really have the buying power to really absorb the cost. So I find I'm working with many businesses that the profit margins have shrunk significantly and they're facing the question, should I continue trading or should I maybe close down?
Cesar says too many business owners still rely on gut instinct to run their business. He says sometimes this can work, but often, especially when times are tough, a lack of a firm plan can upset that gut feel. That's where technology should help.
In these rough times, we don't have the luxury of relying on our intuition to run a business, and there is so much technology available to facilitate the process of overcoming that challenge of not having a business plan. I like to think that my job is also enabling that, but today just with technology I think business owners could have the opportunity to form a sound business plan rather than purely relying on their intuition, which I feel in a market the way it is a big risk.
Technology can be seen by old school business owners as the enemy. But adapting and embracing time-saving strategies could be a pivot point for some businesses that might otherwise fail. At worst, It can address problems in a business around cash flow or excessive expenses ahead of time.
Today, you can really change your profit and loss effectively of the business by embracing technologies, having significant saving opportunities by either outsourcing some of the work you do, those tedious tasks, to technology packages that can take care of that.
Others use technology as the core of their business. Social media is of itself a business for marketing. Mia Plechik's business, Slick Hair, is a cosmetic appliance for flyaway hairs. It found success and its market using TikTok.
The reason why Slick Hair took off in the first place was because I was super active on TikTok. And this was back in when TikTok was very much business oriented. People were sharing the behind the scenes of business, and that's exactly what I was doing. So I was on lives every day and I was getting thousands of people tuning into my TikTok lives, watching me pack orders. Back then, before we went into mass production, I used to label all of the slick sticks by hand, and I think I did about 40,000 before we actually went to mass production. So I would just be on live sharing the behind the scenes of this small business that was really rapidly growing, and people loved it. So absolutely, social media has been paramount for our success, and it still is to this day.
Mia's business rapidly evolved from the traditional garage-based venture startup. Her story and growth saw her named CommBank's Rising Star at the bank's 2024 Young Hero Awards.
So we are in over 20 countries, we're in over 5,000 doors, and we're just getting started, really. I mean, I know that sounds a bit cliche, but we've really just kind of unlocked some really incredible retailers globally, and our strategy is to continue to do that. The next big challenge is going to be the US, which is terrifying, but it's one that we need to do because, again, this product would do so incredibly well over there.
But while technology can lead to business success, it can also be the cause of much pain. Recent high-profile cybersecurity breaches, such as the Medibank hack and the ongoing repercussions from the Optus breach, have also got implications for small business owners. The average loss for a small business from cybersecurity breaches and ransomware attacks is around $16,000. The CBA's Rebecca Warren has often been on the support end of some very distressed phone calls.
Too often, the absolute short answer there. It's the financial toll, but it's also the emotional toll for all customers, consumers and small business. It's heartbreaking. We've invested $750 million into technology to try to keep our customers safe and sound, and delighted that we have been able to stop about $225 million of fraud.
CommBank has been a long-term partner of the Cyber Wardens training program. You might recall we spoke with Tegan Gilchrist, who runs the program, around a year ago. 12 months on, she says the ongoing breaches are a message for all business owners to double down on cybersecurity.
It's been a big year for the Cyber Wardens program. We're seeing more and more small businesses take up the program as we roll it out nationally. And it's just so important because we've seen the increase 23% year on year in the number of cyber attacks that are coming down the line at small business. So it's never been more important to jump online and get those free skills.
The findings of a recent report commissioned by the Council of Small Business found that one of the biggest impediments to the cyber resilience of small business is their own behaviour. It coined the term little fish mentality, which it identifies as one of the biggest problems for SMEs. That is, seeing themselves as small targets who don't have much to offer for cyber criminals.
We've all heard about some of the really big cyber attacks over the last 2 years, and they've made us more aware of cybersecurity, but it's reinforced a myth that cybersecurity is a big business problem. But about 43%, so close to 1 in 2 attacks, is actually targeting small businesses.
Lieutenant General Michelle McGuinness, the federal government's cybersecurity coordinator, leads Australia's effort to maintain cybersecurity and to keep our data safe. This week I sat down with her and asked her to explain why small businesses are being targeted so aggressively by cyber criminals.
Oh, look, I think the threat of cyber attack across the nation is significant. The most recent cyber threat report by the Australian Signals Directorate said that there is a cyber incident reported once every 6 minutes. As I've said, I think that's just the tip of the iceberg. That's just those that call in and report those incidences. I think that was an increase of quite an amount from the previous year. And as small businesses increase their presence online and grow and seek to expand across the nation, then they become a greater threat vector.
And would you say it's in the national interest to protect the small business sector?
Oh, absolutely. I think, with over 2.5 million small businesses, and the contribution they make to the economy is not insignificant. It's a huge part of our nation and our economy. It's absolutely in our interest. It's in our interest to protect all Australians, but small businesses are a big part of our landscape.
And what are you seeing at the moment in your role? How are small businesses being targeted by threat actors?
Well, I think anyone who holds data and sensitive data is a target. And there are things that we can all do. And I think that for small businesses in particular, it can be hard or overwhelming and financially difficult to find the resources to prioritise cyber. I think my message to small businesses is don't delay. Prioritise cyber and seek help. There is some great advice and some great recommendations and support options for you at cyber.gov.au. There is a big focus on this in my role and in the strategy. In the first shield for the strategy really focuses on how do we strengthen small businesses.
We know that there have been a lot of ransomware attacks, a lot of them very high profile recently. What is the recommended course of action if your customer data is held to ransom?
I think as soon as you suspect or identify a cyber incident, particularly a ransomware, go straight to 1300 Cyber 1 and report it to the Australian Signals Directorate. There is reporting for AFP. And then the Australian Government does not ever recommend that you pay a ransom. Paying ransom just feeds the cycle of criminality, and there's no guarantee that gets your data back. So a really important point is to plan for, to have a plan for cyber incidences, to know what you will do at these times, and so that you can respond rapidly and show resilience and get through the other side of an attack. There are also things that everyone can do, whether you're a small business or an individual. And at the moment we have a campaign that is Act Now, Stay Secure. And that campaign focuses on asking everyone to do 3 simple things. That is, update your passphrases, have unique and complex passphrases for all your accounts. Apply multi-factor authentication. This is a big one for small businesses who are interacting with customers. Enable multi-factor authentication. And then update your software. Ensure that your software across all of your applications is updated whenever updates are put out there. And for small businesses, I just reiterate that having a plan, understanding your data and understanding how you can protect yourself and your customers is really important.
Are you finding that AI is changing the game in the way that cyber attacks are getting more and more sophisticated?
I think AI comes with great opportunities as well as threats and challenges. For every advantage that AI brings, we have to consider that there may be a threat opportunity. So embracing it carefully, maintaining those basic cyber principles of ensuring that you have complex passphrases, you've got updated software on any of your devices, and that you understand the technology that you're importing is really important.
And just on AI, is AI also strengthening your ability to catch the bad guys?
I know that AI is being used across multiple departments in order to understand the nature of the threat. As I said, I think it's two-edged. I think there are as many opportunities as there are threats.
Do you think that the education and skills around cyber preparedness in the SME sector leaves room to be desired?
Yeah, I think part of the challenge is that cyber is seen as a particularly technical capability or technical issue, and that in fact it feels inaccessible and people are intimidated and threatened by cyber, whereas in fact we want to empower every Australian, every individual, every business to actually do the things that are in their control to build their resilience and strengthen their own cyber position across families, across businesses. And really that's what the Act Now Stay Secure is about. We talk about what are you risking online and the things that you can do about it yourself to be stronger and more secure.
And Michelle, what are some of the programs and initiatives that are on offer to support the cyber resilience of the SME sector?
There are a number of programs and initiatives out of the strategy. They are rolling out over this year and the life of the strategy, including health checks and playbooks, so that small businesses are armed with all the information they have to both stay secure and respond to cyber incidences. And of course, cyber.gov.au is an excellent resource with a lot of detail there on how everyone can keep themselves more secure, and also what to do if they suspect or fear they are being targeted by a cyber attack.
Michelle McGuinness, thank you very much for your time.